Alrighty, and we're back on Stationeers. Let me double check something real quick. Okay, and my mic is working this time. Still getting used to this. Last time I had mic issues, and I apologize to anybody who joined the stream. I was not trying to ignore you. I was talking and okay. We have the glow light, but it's not automated. We have this set up. Alright, I think I remember where I was last week. A lot has happened in my life, so accepted a new job on Thursday, rearranged things with my current job, so I will still be working there on the weekends. So yeah, a lot happened and a lot to keep track of. Alright, so we need to get a housing, an IC chip, the laptop. Okay. And see, down to the production area. Don't need that open right now. Don't need that open right now. Over here. Electronics printer. Let's turn the power on. Oh, that's why I had that open. Put that away. Just to make sure I don't already have it. Yeah, I did not print the laptop yet. Load up the printer with all materials. I'm not worried about them going every which way. No, and I need steel, and I believe steel's in this guy. Alright, and then we want the editor. Okay, I'm going to need to print a filter because I am down to 61%. And I think I will go for the deluxe filters this time around, so that way I don't have to worry about them for a long time. There's the printer. Or, I mean, there's the laptop. We will put you in. Let's put you in here. Large battery, so that way you can have your own battery, which is actually, I'm just going to put that in there. Then IC chip. In case you loud cat has received the test. And let's see if anyone else. Image for Hyrie received the test. So I'm not sure why it only shows 2 viewers. Or 1 viewer when there's clearly 2. Go figure. I need the housing. And probably more cable. use up all my Hasterloy, or did I just laying around somewhere? It's like, yeah, I had to make Hasterloy to make that guy. Or no, or is that Wasperloy? It was Wasperloy. I'm not sure what Hasperloy is. Oh. In the Larry. Atmospheric dot, clearly. Okay. Let's go get our greenhouse at least started. There. Pull out the laptop. Place the laptop down. Open it up. Shift inside. Go into library. Export. Grow light program. All it does is turn on the grow light, wait 15 minutes, turn off the grow light, wait 5 or 6 minutes. Or no, 5 minutes, 5 minutes. And that's pretty much takes care of most plants. We're going to go here, here. Grow light. There we go. Turn you on. There we go. Here, we got this. And we can take off our suit. Here. Check the atmosphere because I don't remember what it was. That's right, I accidentally wasted most of my waste gas. So we'll still have to wait in order for us to plant, because we are below what is safe for plants. Sadly. But that should be cycling properly. There we go. Now Twitch is caught up and shows both you guys watching.
Hunger caution.
It's supposed to go down. That's where the storage is. That's suit storage. We're not going to be setting that up anytime soon, sadly. That's it. Yeah, let's take this storage and put it in here because it'd be easier to find. Here, and actually, you are going to go in here too. I left the laptop on top of the thing. Yeah, I ate all the spare bars, so that can go there. In fact, now that we have the watering station, food is the limiter, so I'll put 2 food in there. Alright. So we gotta get CO2 levels up. One way we could go about doing that is by off-gassing ores, but I don't think we're quite set up for that quite yet. Let's go see what things look like on the surface, because we can even check the gases. I'm fairly confident they are way too hot to think about grabbing out of here. those are too hot for now. I mean, we do have 4.3 kilomoles of carbon dioxide in there. We're not rushed. We have plenty of food, so we're not going to have to worry about food for a while. We're not going to have to worry about oxygen. So we don't have to rush the greenhouse. What I will think I will do is first off make sure I don't have any mushrooms. And if I don't have mushrooms, then I will go see if I can set up a trader to get mushrooms. Because mushrooms will convert oxygen into carbon dioxide, which we have plenty of oxygen, we don't have plenty of carbon dioxide. And that way we can get started with the greenhouse balancing in the beginning. No, wheat. So yeah, we do not have mushrooms. Alright, so landing pad. We're going to need 10 to start with, 9 for the pad, 1 for the controller. And I'm debating whether I want to just start off. No, I'm not going to start off making the oxygen environment for the trading because I need to get myself more established. We're only on the 3rd stream of this. We're on day 14. Why it'd be great to lay out the oxygen facility. We need to build up our infrastructure and get there first. So small trader it is, small satellite dish, and the whole 9 yards there. And we'll expand it and make it an oxygen environment later on. The nice part about being on the moon is you don't have to worry about atmosphere heating or cooling gases, so you can store the gases outside. On places like Mars, Venus, Vulcan, you gotta protect your gases from on the trader, so you need to build them enclosed, at least to the best of my knowledge. Alright, so now we want a computer for the trader. That will be the trading computer. We want communication motherboard, small satellite dish, and then we also want the frames and steel plates to build everything. I will need 10, I believe it's 10 cables for the landing pad, data, yeah, 10 cables. Plus all the cables to actually run it. Okay. Cables, print me a lot of them. Let's get a stack of 50 cables. That should be 10 to assemble the thing, and then 40 to run it. I'm thinking about just putting it on the exterior power system since we already have a battery there. Later on, we'll give it its own dedicated battery, which will be particularly useful when we start using the large communications dish, because that can use a lot of power. Makes contacting other ones easier, but it uses a lot of power, and I just like to have it with its own large battery. Nine more. 5, 4, 10 steel frames and roughly 30 steel sheets. Yeah, I have more than enough steel for that. And I am trying to be mindful and looking at my chat, as that is something I do continuously forget to do at times. It'll probably be better when I have more people active in the chat.
Power low.
Power low. Oh, there's my steel. Close you, close that. Kind of. When I go frames, we want 10 steel frames. Again, 9 for the actual landing pad and 1 for the control. Should probably actually do 11, so I have 1 for the computer. And then 32 steel frames. And 1 for the go on the steel sheets. 32 is what I said. Hopefully I did my math right. Because that should be 22 for the frames, and then, like, we could get away with 31, but then you always want to print them in even amounts so you don't waste material. So I want to get the trader up and running. I want to try to get mushrooms going so we can build up our CO2 supplies. Long term, you'd have your mushrooms growing in a separate greenhouse because the light will kill the mushroom. And right now we only have the one spot. But later on, we'll actually have a whole building or a whole room dedicated to mushroom growth. Why we'll have the greens and other rooms, and we'll have each plant have its own room. At least that's my plan. That's one of the nice parts about this game is there's so much you can do that it's easy to get lost in the details and get sidetracked. Because we got a lot to do, and we're still only on day 15, and we're just starting out. Even though this is day 3 of the stream. So just to run things through, as to refresh my own mind, as well as anyone who actually watches this. So this is our ground floor. We're just above bedrock. It's right there. We're going to put deep miners further back. And the deep miners are going to go into electric centrifuges at a ratio of 3 to 1. We're actually going to build 4 deep miners and have 12 centrifuges running, and then it will go into a sorting system, and from a sorting system to a stacker, and from the stacker into a silo. And that way we'll have silos of all the ores that we can pull from. Later on, we will add a system that pulls from those silos and puts it into a vending machine. That way we can automate which ores go
Hunger
into
critical.
the furnace. Hunger critical. Okay. That tells me we need to go to level 10. Level 10 is going to be our greenhouse level, and I'm debating whether it should be greenhouse and living quarters, or if it should just be the greenhouse area. Drink while we're here. Let's take the suit off so we're less smelly. So yeah, I actually do think I'm just going to keep this level being just the hydroponics area, and we'll have a genetics room somewhere, and then on level 15 will be the living quarters, where I want to build quarters for, if this was an operational base, you'd have crew quarters for everybody operating. So like the commander, the medical, the science officers, the actual miners and processors. With the idea of I'm just here setting it up for them to show up. Oh, and we're not smelling anymore, so let's put our suits back on. And I'd love to make a very well-established trade zone where we have basically multiple landing pads, all being able to be atmospheric, and have it where you can walk around the entire complex, including the trade centers, without a spacesuit on. That's definitely going to be a long way off, but that's what I would like to be able to. Alright, so computer there. Alright, and then grab our arc welder. Does not have a battery. Oh, it's right there. Oh, wrong spot. That one. My defense, it was literally where the battery should have been. Oh, we want to go landing pad. I'll get fancy with the lights when we get a bigger pad. It's just a 3x3. I don't feel like getting fancy with the lights. Okay. Now we grab this guy. Go back here. And go here. And there's our trade platform with one spare panel. Alright. Here, put the communications panel, and there we go. Wire cutters, table, and that's now wired. Turn on, turn on, turn on. Oh yeah, and we also need this guy. that's all wired up. Turn you to maximum power. I like to start at a 45. Contact log. Pay less liquids. Or they go to start a designer fluids place and show people that it's not how much the liquids cost, but just how good the liquids are. For those who aren't familiar with that joke, Payless Shoes was a cheap shoe brand store in the United States, and to prove a point one time, they opened a fake designer shoe store and sold high-end influencers their $20 shoes for like $500, and no one caught on until they finally said, "Oh yeah, no, we're just Payless Shoes. We're just proving a point. Here's your money back, but yeah, you bought Payless Shoes." Oh, that sounds like we can buy from these. Water ice. Hmm. There's a whole bunch of water ice right here. And it is nighttime, so it shouldn't melt. That was the other thing I forgot to build, was a vending machine. We can. And that's more or less how trading works. We got about 20 minutes before the next trading cycle. I'm here and see what the gas levels look like here. 10% CO2, so it's actually not really worth coming in here to steal the CO2. We do have the bypass, so we could bypass it, but no. The other trick is I did talk about building a second one. Oh, hello. I now see Oak Spirit. Thank you for joining me. Yeah, having to move, how to move the tanks can be really tricky, especially since there's two different tanks. You have this tank, which you have these handles down here, and these tanks, which handles are up here. It's best to have your hands free, and then you click, and then it becomes an object, and you drop it by dropping an object. I like to move backwards when moving tanks, as well as crates, because they do have object physics and can get caught on things. Okay, so let's go ahead and start building that second furnace that will actually be in the production area. I do want to keep the one that's currently set up where it is, just so that way we have a spare if we need it. I have seen people play games where they blow up their arc furnace and that kind of dooms their game. Same with the auto lathe. So I've been trying to keep a spare set by the lifeboat. Advanced furnace. And actually I'm going to build two. Oh, I don't have enough copper to build two advanced furnaces. Let's see, do I have any copper in one of these? That's the, yes. Oxides. Do I have any copper on me? Alright, let's distribute. That's pretty much already full. As is that one. Let's go mining for copper. Okay. Oh, so you just started and oh, if you watch one of my earlier ones, I wasted all my CO2 because I thought I had all the walls in place. And so I vented my waste gas into my greenhouse and I'm like, why isn't it pressurizing? And then I looked up in my airlock and the roof was missing from my airlock. And I'm like, I just wasted all that gas. Which is why I haven't planted my crops, is because I'm still waiting for the CO2 to build back up. And that's also why I'm building two advanced furnaces. One's just going to be to off-gas the ore at 100-degree temperature, because you can collect a lot of CO2 and oxygen that way. And then they'll be pumped into the rooms. And the second one will be set up more like this one, where it's designed just to be a hot tank that doesn't really lose heat. Okay, so we have this. Let's find that copper. A lot of iron, gold, nitrite. Oh, I ran out of power while I was in the middle of there. Yes, that does tend to happen. It happened to me a lot when I first started playing, which is why I get into the habit of putting the power controller inside the airlock. So that way, if I ever run out of power, I can steal a battery from one of my tools to cycle the airlock. Because, yes, it is very, very annoying when you're sitting there, you're running into the airlock, and all of a sudden you lose power. Do not feel bad about doing that. It happens to a lot of people. And it's kind of the spirit of this game is you learn the hard way, and then you learn how to not repeat those mistakes. I tend to build a lot of redundancies in place because, well, I had things go wrong. So, like, great example is, here's my solar array that powers my base. I actually have this standard solar, which doesn't do great, facing the dawn, so that way if for whatever reason my base loses power and these lose power, when the sun rises, it hits this and that powers up the system, and then all the other solar powers turn to the sun and recharge the system. Because every once in a while you'll be running everything and your battery will just go dead, and you're like, oh shit, it's the middle of the night, all my solar panels are now facing the wrong direction. Which is why I like to leave a regular solar panel facing the dawn, so you have that backup. I've had many games where I was sitting waiting for the dawn so my airlock could cycle, only to realize, oh crap, dawn already came, and my solar panels are just facing the wrong way. Yeah, I like the game. There's a lot to learn. I'm still learning a lot of the game. I like watching Splitsy, who plays a lot of this game. He usually streams on Thursdays, and he's still learning the game a lot. So he still messes around with systems, and he's even like, guys, I think on this current play is the furthest I've ever got, because they're really updating this game quite a bit. There's going to be a big terrain update coming soon, and basically most people who play it, once that terrain, they're going to start completely over, and that's one reason why a lot of people haven't gotten extremely far, is because every time you reach a certain point, the game drops an update, and you're like, oh wow, there's a lot more to learn. I'm going to start over because the game's changed so much. It's too, as long as I've been playing, it hasn't changed so dramatically. It's a different game. It's just they've improved it so much. You're like, oh, everything I did to solve the puzzles are either not working anymore, or they're kind of silly to keep that same problem. Like with the air conditioning, I used to had a system to work on Venus that was able to get cold enough, but it was horribly inefficient with power. And now they did phase change, and now you can get colder temperatures with phase change at so much less energy. Uh, I've only built a single phase change device. Like on Splitsy, he has it where it goes through like 3 different phase change devices to get to the right temperature. Okay. And if you say something and I miss it, I apologize. My chat is on a different window, so I have to remember to actually look about 45 degrees from my screen to actually see your comments. But I'm happy you're joining. I don't want to ignore you. That's why I'm apologizing in advance in case I do accidentally miss something. If you have any other questions, feel free to ask. I'm more than willing to answer. I'll tell you what I do know. I don't know everything. And I do make mistakes, like how I just released the ores where they're still ores and not ingots. When the light is green, it's supposed to be when they're able to be kicked out as ingots, but if you remove all the gas, they won't pop out as an ingot, and I had it taking all the gas away. Okay, shut off the power. Shut off. Speaking of shutting off the power. Nice positive volatiles. put the gasser somewhere here, and then we'll put the actual furnace over here. We don't seem to be struggling with power here, so the degasser, I'll have an electric heater to make sure it stays above 100°C. I kind of don't want it to go too high over 100°C because then I'll have to cool those gases later. I keep forgetting.
Air tank critical.
So, out of sheer curiosity, Oak Spirit, what area of the world do you hail from? Oh. So it's late for you as well. That's kind of why I was curious where you hailed from, because it's 10:40 here. I decided to stream this late because my wife is asleep by this time, and I was kind of curious what type of person would be up at this time. I partially was thinking you might be Australian because I know they're up at this time. I have a lot of Australian friends because this is the hour I'm up and they're already starting their day today. I forgot about the electronic part. So I just need 2 electronic parts, 1 for each furnace. How do I get back inside if you die inside your base and the airlock is closed? There's sometimes a cheeky trick you can do. Let me see if I can pull it off and show you. Because sometimes you can clip through the door. And the other trick is, depending on how you wire your airlock, you can just click the door and it will cycle. So if you have it set up right, you can actually click the door right there and it will cycle. The big problem is when you use manual airlocks or the manual doors and you do it, that's a problem. But you can do that, and sometimes you can clip through a wall and push a button. You see how I canceled it right there? Sometimes you can interact with the things through. So I'm pushing Alt so I can move my mouse. And as you can see, I'm able to cycle it. I'm glad I was able to help. Don't feel bad. That was something that I like. You notice I'm like, oh yeah, because it took me a while to learn that. I had that happen several times. One of the things I actually started to do before I learned all this was I actually made 2 airlocks just in case that happened. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that you're struggling, but I'm very glad I could be helpful. And again, any questions, feel free to ask. I have around 500 hours in this game. I'm not an expert by any means, but if I can help you in any way, I will be more than happy to help you. Oh, shoot, it's probably been long enough. Let's see what the new trader is. Astromart? No, I do not think you're going to have mushrooms, but... Oh, you only have... So you just picked up the game, so that's kind of nice.
Power critical.
So there's 2 YouTubers I can definitely recommend if you want to learn more about this game. There's Splitsy. Watching his Venus playthrough, you learn a lot about how to play the game. And Cows Are Evil. Yes, hilarious YouTube name, but Cows Are Evil. He's great at teaching you how to do things. All right. I keep saying I need to do it, so I'm just going to buy 2 of them. Off you go. And
Filter low.
what was I up to? Oh yes, the furnaces. Depends on how you leave them. If you leave them outside, particularly on anything other than the moon, they can get damaged in a storm. You can get damage from them being in a too hot environment. But if they're like in a room and you just leave it on the ground, they're not going to go anywhere. Splitsy in particular is known for his floorage. Yeah, getting lost is a very easy thing. Let me go back to the lifeboat and I'll show you the tracker and the importance of the tracker. Very important early on in the game. As you get further on, there's the GPS modular. And if you play with friends, you can actually use the tracker on your tablet to track your base mates. So let's go in here. If you start on a standard playthrough, you should get this tracking beacon. You place it in the world by T, and you turn it on by clicking on this yellow bit, and it will start sending out a transmission. Let me go get my tracker modular, because I just realized I left that in the base. And I just realized you said you lost it on the moon and not lost on the moon, but it's still like, I get lost at times, so this isn't anything. This is good to kind of show. Tracker. Must be in this one. Tracker. And then it points to where you're at. Trackers use power. I mean, there's a base beacon you can tie into your base power. But the better concept is when you can get to a high enough production level, you can make this DPS unit, which I'm going to make right now, and put in my suit, because, again, it's super easy to get lost. If you go back and watch some of my other plays, you can even see, yeah, I kind of get lost, but I find my way back. So it shows the GPS coordinates, and if my memory serves right, your spawn point is 0, 0. So this is really nice because what's really annoying is when you're utilizing the tracker and your tracker's battery dies while you are out and about. But yeah, as you can see, here's the spawn point and track world GPS 00 at that point. One of the other useful tricks that I used to do back when I relied on the tracker more, you'll notice it's by the door. I would actually have it in the door, so I would make sure to turn it on, as well as it had power before I went and started searching for ores and stuff. When you're on the moon, this thing's really nice to keep around because it looks like a beacon, and you can see it very far away thanks to that light on that chair. Many times, early game, that is how I find my way back, is I will not go further than what I can see the life pod. And as you can see, we're pretty far away. You can see the big orange tank, but if you're not at the orange tank, that life pod can be seen from very, very far away. So that's a very useful trick. because look how far away I am, and you can still see that life pod. And at night, oh, it is a beacon to send you home. The walk of shame.
Hydration critical.
More minutes on that go. Hydration, so I want to go to the greenhouse. I can vent my waste tank in there while I'm there. Take off my suit so I'm not going to get stinky. Actually, so I'll be less stinky. Granola bar. And we are at 4% CO2. Not bad. I think once I get to 10%, I'll start growing crops in here. I got the water plumbed up. I have the greenhouse or the grow light, and the grow light does have IC10 running it. Have you dealt with MIPS or done any of the programming yet, or even seen any of the programming in this game yet? Sort of. It's MIPS like, and it's I can be stinky for a little bit longer. I have the laptop above the greenhouse. So here's a quick MIPS thing for my grow light. Oh wow, you've actually done MIPS CPU for school. That's kind of cool. So yeah, this is the coding. You'll see that I've done alias grow D10, and what that basically is on this housing, D10 is coded or hard coded to our grow light. And then in the editor, I have it say, hey, save grow light on status as 1, sleep for 900 seconds, then set grow light on to 0, sleep for 300 seconds, go to start. It's a nice way to have it kind of do what the plants need. There's ways you can use the solar tracker to simulate the game day, but when you're doing it, you can sit there and come into here. Growth or light per day needed 8 minutes, darkness per day 5 minutes, and this is why there's 300 seconds of it off. Any extra of growth of light equals extra growth. Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's one of the reasons I like playing this game is I am trying to get better with my coding. Here's, like, you can go onto the Steam thing and you can get pre-generated code. I got this just so I could look at what they did with it. This one's my coding. This one's one of my codes for doing satellite dishes, where a lot of times I'll have an atmospheric chamber with a small satellite dish that I can control right there, and my large dish and my medium dish will be outside in the vacuum of space or the horrible atmosphere of Venus. But as you can see, I link them so that way, whatever I do to the small dish, it does the large dish, and that's how I control the large and medium dish when I'm not next to the controls. Here's some like advanced solar trackers. Here's how's our evil suit thing. I'm trying to do all my own coding from now on, but I have those so I can look at what someone else did and go, oh, that's how they did it. That's how you're supposed to code it. One of the things I'm excited to kind of get my hands in and wrap is you have the ability to do hash files, where that way you can basically like you can have hundreds of Harveys, and like the way I'm controlling my solar panels is with batch commands, but every solar panel is facing the same direction and it's going to be doing the same thing. If you have 100 Harveys, that you want to control them independently. So you can't really do a batch command, but what you can do is say use the hash programming, and then you can name each Harvey like Harvey 1, Harvey 2, Harvey 3, and then you can write the code where it goes through and does Harvey 1, Harvey 2, Harvey 3, and you don't have to actually use the pins, because otherwise you'd be limited to 6 pins. I haven't got there yet, mainly because I haven't got to the part where I need to control a dozen Harveys. Which that's one of my goals in this playthrough, is to get to the point where I'm using the Harveys to do the switchgrass to generate volatiles. And again, Cows Are Evil did a very good tutorial on how to do the Harveys with hash commands. Oh. Would help if I had a battery in my arc welder. Screwdriver. Alright, go. And I can't get back around here. And yes, technically I don't need to move all the ores. I can just grab the ingots I need. I kind of just like keeping them all in the same spot. Otherwise, it gets confusing for me and I forget where they're at. So I just tend to move all the ores together. Occasionally I don't. Like, I think the steel's in here. Oh, it's not in there for once. But it just helps me keep track of where everything is. Go insulated pipes. Oh, I'm going to need to bake more silicone soon. get our iron and get ourselves another mining backpack, because our mining backpacks are full, and mining backpacks are a very underrated resource in this game. Because you can see here, I have all this storage space, and I can just put it in a single slot. And it's really useful to keep your ores organized. At a certain point, I'm going to basically have a backpack per ore type. And later on, I want to basically have deep miners down here and have a storage silo per ore type. Because this will be my mining and storage area for the ores. Oh wait, I need to go back to the production because I forgot to actually make the backpack. There's standard. Let's go get the battery for the sensor lenses and hunt down some silicone. Oh, new trader. Sidetrack. So it's best to go in this direction. Getting worse or better now? Because if you're getting worse, nope.
Power low.
Contact. Incoming. Do you have anything useful, mister? Ooh! Ooh! This is kind of what I was hoping for. Clear my hands, because I still haven't made the vending machine yet. Yes, I want mushrooms. That's the main reason I want to put this up. And switchgrass seeds. Yes, you're the other important thing that I wanted. Are you buying anything? I have. Could make that, but that's only going to be 40. Could make one of those. Now, that would be rather time consuming to make. Let's go. Part because I basically got everything I could afford, and you're not really buying stuff that's economical for me to do. But I got the mushrooms. That was kind of my primary reason I wanted to get the trader up and running. Okay. So put the potato away, put the soy away, put that away, that there, that there. Now let's go to the greenhouse. Disable the grow light and plant some mushrooms. So, shut you off. Cycle. Shut you off. And let's grow 2 mushrooms. Because I want to keep 1 spare just in case something goes wrong. You know what? Let's go make a plant growth analyzer. Because that mushroom is not growing exceptionally well, and I'm kind of curious as why. I think it's because it's too cold in the room, because it's only 8 degrees, and if that is the case, then we will work on making an air conditioner to get it warm again. And conversely, keep it at a steady temperature as opposed to just willy-nilly temperatures. Bit of iron, which is in here. Let's go see why this plant is not growing so great. Okay, growth efficiency only at 41. Temperature is at 41. It wants to be at 20 degrees and it's only at 9 degrees. Pressure is fine. Light is fine. Oxygen is fine. Pollutant is fine. Volatile. So yeah, it's just too cold. So we will take a short detour from what I was doing to get this thing running with a air conditioner, which is kind of going to be easier said than done at this moment, but we'll do it. Building my base underground is where it's going to be proved difficult, because we gotta basically find a way to vent the heat. Although my brain just goes, right now you're not trying to vent the heat, you're trying to increase the heat. But at a certain point it will be getting too hot, and that's when you need to vent the heat. vent. Atmosphere. It's got some iron ones here, but that's got better iron. Day 18 with no deaths. We have had accidents on the site, but none resulted in death. I just have a busted environmental suit in there. Be very careful when you're moving freights in tight areas because they have physics and you can break your suit on them. Recycling the air. Get the cold air out, get the hot air in. So have you broken a suit yet? I just realized I'm still going to have to go for that silicone because I need silicone for the pipes. Actually, yeah, I'm going to do the pipes right the first time, so. We're whalers on the moon. We carry our harpoons, but there ain't no well, so we sing tall tales and sing a whaling tune. That's silver. There's silicone. Right? Yeah, that's silicone. Sensor lenses make it a lot easier to find the ores you're looking for. It's one of the reasons I wanted to get to Tier 2 electronics or Tier 2 full printer as quickly as I can. go process these silicone, and then we can start making insulated pipes again and get our temporary tiny little greenhouse up and running. We're definitely going to want a little bit of gas to start flowing in. Start pumping out all that. What gases does silicone release? Nitrogen, flutant, and carbon dioxide. No, you're still processing. Let's close that. Now open it and pump out all the gas. Before I forget, check. No.
Filter low.
Okay, yeah, we are good on pressure. We're not worried about the pressure in that tank yet. Okay, after these get started. Set it up. I forgot the regular pipes. Need regular pipes to build it. Can't use insulated pipes to build it. there. Prime the line with some gas. Not a lot of gas, but it's some. That away, put that back where it belongs. What's that?
Pressure critical. Oxygen critical.
Oh yes, the classic mistake of taking it off too soon or forgetting to put it on in the airlock. Alright, so just by having the mushroom in here, it's already gone up a few degrees. And right now it's stealing heat from the pipe to heat up the room, which will be nice for when it starts to reverse. Let's open up this. Should also increase the temperature ever so slightly. And the mushrooms have already gone to growing moderately well. Oh yeah, how's the CO2 levels? 7%, not bad. Put this battery on the charger, because I keep forgetting to put batteries on their chargers. Shoots. And now we're gonna set it up where we have the degassing furnace isolated, but accessible. Basic shoot. crap ton more steel. I'll have to get some coal. Battery. Mining. Hydration critical on me. I need to drink some fluids. Alright. So let's go look for coal. I think I remember seeing some over here. There we go. There's some coal. How does this go? How can we? Oh, that's water. Not oxide. Oxide's right there, and there's the volatiles right there. I just need a little bit of each. I don't feel like going back in the base just to get a little bit by each. Because the furnace is cooled down to the point that we don't quite have the temperature of steel. Is that going to be enough to heat the steel up? Probably not. So let's do one more grouping of it. Burn! Burn! And there's our steel. and that's enough to make 5 tanks, so we can make a large insulated storage tank, so that way when we off gas, we have a place to put it all. Okay, that tank should be small because it's just for processing time. So
Hunger caution.
the other storage tanks will be large, but this one doesn't have to be. Now we want to run the cable. Make more cabling.
Filter low. Omnidirectional power distribution. We want large wireless battery. Big, that's what it's called. Yep, that's the problem.
standard. Labeler. And tablet. Get a better battery charger. It's wired up. Turn it on. Now, you already got your battery. I guess this was the other one I changed the battery out for. Alright, and now most of my tools are on wireless power, so I don't have to worry about changing the batteries out. I will keep my suit and the sensor lenses on the large battery because they last longer. So, time to start wrapping up my stream because it is almost midnight here. We got the degassing furnace built, but we still need to wire the housing and program it because the whole point is I want to maintain the temperature at 105 degrees Celsius. So it will turn on the pipe heater when it's below that temperature, and that way we can keep the furnace heated at a certain point. And in fact, I'm glad I noticed this now. I'm going to move this tank back a little further. I want to have a pump that when the pressure reaches a certain level in the furnace, it also pipes it out into the holding tank. That code's not too hard to do. It's just close to midnight and I don't want to think about it. There we go. And the pump can go right there. So we'll have the MIPS, which I'll probably put right here just for the sake of convenience. When it drops below 100 degrees in the furnace, this pipe will turn on and will heat up the gas. When the temperature or the pressure gets above like 100, we'll pipe out the gas into here and store it. After I get that wired up, we'll eventually come in and have a bypass off of here, and that's where it will go into the gas sorting system, and we'll have large storage tanks for each gas down this way. And then we'll put the actual processing furnace over here, we'll leave a space so that way you can walk through behind it. But this one will go right about here. I need a frame for it, but I'll put it there for now. It will go here in this cell, and we'll remake the box up like we did upstairs, where it surrounds itself with a gas at low pressure. So when it does radiate heat, it radiates it to that encompass gas, and as that gas heats up, then it becomes equalized and it doesn't lose any heat. If you just keep it in a vacuum, it will just continue to lose heat through radiant losses. But if you actually surround it in a gas, as soon as that gas equalizes with the furnace, then it traps all the heat and energy in there. Our oxygen supply is
Hydration
at
critical.
5 megapascals. We're at a point where I'm not too worried about it. We're already getting the greenhouse stuff going, and again, we have plenty of oxides to melt if that is something that comes up. Let's see here. Let's see how the greenhouse is going. How much CO2 do we have? And how warm is it? It's 11 degrees, so it's still rather chilly for the mushrooms. And our CO2 is only at 7%. Now it's at 8.9 after I release my waste tank gas. Let's drink some water while we're in here. So, next week when I play again, my goals that I hope to accomplish is to get the furnace set up downstairs with the degassing and then the processing, so that way we're also not having to worry about heating up all the gases that come off the ores. That makes the furnace run more efficiently. We'll get to collect all the gases and they'll be cool, so we don't have to waste all that time and energy cooling down the gases that we want. And I definitely want to expand our greenhouse. I actually want to build a large water tank up here, and I actually want to have it where we have a decent sized mushroom farm and then start having a room for each of the other plants, particularly tomato and soy, because we can use those, or potato and soy because we can use that to make french fries, which is a top tier food, and that will keep it where we can have the 175% hydration, which makes food just water and food just so much easier. I do have to remember about nitrogen, as the soy consumes nitrogen, but that's another reason why we're getting our processing side of it up and running too, so we can process the ores, get the gases off the ores, and even ices. I'm so used to playing on Venus, I keep forgetting ices is still a thing on this moon. Oh yeah, how's our waste pipe doing? Yeah, it's cold enough to freeze CO2. Luckily, there's not enough CO2 to freeze. But as this room heats up from the mushrooms metabolizing, it will start pulling from that. See, I just noticed how hungry my character is. So, Oak Spirit, thank you for joining me. I'll be back next week, same time. Tomorrow I'll be doing Echoes of Wisdom with my niece, Luigi's Mansion on Monday, and Project Zomboid on Wednesday. I look forward. I hope you join me next week, and until then, enjoy playing Stationeers. It's a game I rather enjoy, clearly since I'm streaming it, and I hope you enjoy it.